Okay, good morning, everybody.
So how's everybody at?
I hope all of you are doing well. Just give me a minute as I set up my device and then we'll be all set to go. Okay, 1 second. This is taking longer than usual. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay. Just give me a minute, okay? This is taking longer than. Okay, check it. The device is all set up now. Check it. Let's see. So we're at 128 people now. I'm assuming that the other 100 odd people would be joining us soon. Let's see. Okay, Anusha, Vadiraj, Bhumika, Chaitra, Kishore, Harish, Nirja, Pritish, Shashwat, Baswaraj, Prakriti, Manisha, Sanjana, Raksha, Lasya, Rajnandan, Dhanush, Sushma, Suhas, okay, Rajeshwari, Fiza, Vijay, Lakshmi, Jyoti, Suraj, Sakshi, Ananya, Divya, Pooja, Rajnandan, Sanjana, Anushri, Shreya, Aishwarya, Trupti, Chandrakala, Aditya, Chetan, Khushi, Sumati Nath, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Kirtan, Vidya, Advait, Rakshita, Tarun, Khushi, Shravana, Soumya, Ruchi, Pranav, Sonia, Bharat, Sushma, Hita, Adi, K, Chetan, Kedar, Vaishnavi, Nivedita. Dhanush, Rohit, good morning, everybody. Great to see you guys. Okay, I hope all of you are doing well. I hope all of you are also preparing for a MT, okay, which is this Sunday. The syllabus has been posted in the WhatsApp group. I hope you have seen that. Viresh, good morning to you also, beta. Good morning, Shri Gauri. Right, okay, so make sure that you are preparing well for it. Okay, 1 second. Okay, good morning, Vijay. Okay, so 1 second, just give me a minute. Okay, yes, yesterday at the end of the class, I will be showing you guys an advertisement on AIDS. Okay, so let's see how it pans out. Okay, it's slightly different from the ones that I've shown you guys so far, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's a shorter one. It's 30 seconds, something like that. But again, something that Government of India came up with. Okay, chalo. ठीक है, start करें फिर बेटा. No, Pritesh, it's not related to Chunni Lal beta. Chunni Lal was only limited to sexual reproductive health. Okay, Chunni Lal's sole job was to make people aware about condoms and post pregnancy care of the mother. Now Chunni Lal is done. Now this ad is different. Okay, ठीक है. Okay, start करें बेटा फिर. Okay, so today is your 11th lecture. 1 second. So today is your 11th lecture of human health and diseases. We are done with the 10 lectures. We are done with the first 10 lectures. And today will be your second last lecture. Tomorrow I'll finish off the chapter. Okay. Okay. So let's start the class without any further delay. So in the last class, okay, let's just do a quick recap of what we did in the last class. In the last class, we looked at, we started with AIDS. We started with AIDS. Okay. We looked at, 1 second. Okay, yeah, we started with AIDS. We looked at symptoms of AIDS, right? And we also looked at the life cycle, but that is something we have already done. And we saw that there are some sort of symptoms of AIDS, and what are the complications that come that arise in a person who's suffering from AIDS. And after that, we talked about the ELISA test, okay, the test that is conducted to check whether a person is HIV positive or not. And after that, we talked about the medications, right? We figured that there's no cure for it, so there are some medications which prolong the life of the person. And lastly, we talked about prevention of AIDS, because when it comes to AIDS, prevention is better than cure, because there is no cure. Okay. And after that, we started with cancer. We talked about what exactly cancer is. Okay. Then we talked about tumors. We talked about types of tumors. So in that, we talked about benign tumor, and we talked about malignant tumor. Okay. And after that, we talked about your types of cancer. We talked about your types of cancers, right? So your types of cancers were sarcoma, carcinoma, and leukemia. So these were the types of cancers that we talked about. Then we talked about what are the causes of cancer. What are the causes? In causes, we talked about carcinogens. Carcinogens are external agents, okay, external agents that are responsible for cancer. So the external agents could be could be biological, they could be physical, they could be chemical also. Then after carcinogens, we talked about, okay, after carcinogens, we saw that there are viruses that are responsible for cancer. Then we talked about oncogenes, genes that are responsible for causing of cancer. So that is what we all studied in yesterday's class. So let's just quickly go through a couple of revision questions, and then we'll see what is on our agenda today. Okay, sure. So the first revision question is on your screen. This question was asked in AIPMT 2014. As I said, AIPMT was the previous version of NEET. Okay. Okay, so yeah, at which stage of HIV infection does one usually show symptoms of AIDS? Within 15 days of sexual contact with an infected person, when the infected retrovirus enter host cells, when HIV damages large number of helper T lymphocytes, when the viral DNA is produced by reverse transcriptase. So that is the question, and those are the options in front of your screen. The notes till yesterday's class have been uploaded in the drive. So make sure that you download them, you study from them, because your MT is just 5 days away, and I want all of you to do well in that. Okay, sure. So the poll is now live on the screen. Make sure that you get your votes in. Okay, so at which stage of HIV infection does one usually show symptoms of AIDS? Something that I mentioned in yesterday's class also. Yes, you can vote. Okay. Okay. What happened to us? Okay, 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds and I'll wrap up the polling. 10 seconds and I'll wrap up the polling. Okay, 5 seconds. 5 seconds and I'll wrap up the polling. 3, 2, 1, and let's stop. Let's see. Okay. So 63% of you think that C is the correct option, and C is indeed the correct option, right? So I told this in the last class also. Okay, I told this no Suhas. I told this in the last class also that when the number of helper T cells reduce drastically in the body, then your body will start showing symptoms of AIDS. Till then, you will be an asymptomatic person. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's move forward now. Okay, so as for corona test, we have 2 types of tests: rapid antigen test and RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase PCR. Those are the 2 tests that we have for coronavirus. Anyway, characteristics of cancer. This question was asked in AIMS 2018. All tumors are cancer. Cancer show metastasis. Cancerous cells show property of contact inhibition. All viruses are oncogenic. So these, okay, so which one of these is true? Characteristics of cancer is what? Okay, what is the characteristics of cancer? What is the characteristic of cancer? Okay, all tumors are cancer. Cancer show metastasis. Cancerous cells show property of contact inhibition. All viruses are oncogenic. Anil, the result will come at 12, I think. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. The result will come at 12, right? And I hope that you guys know that from tomorrow there is lockdown in Hubli Dharwad region, right? So yeah, anyway, I don't think it will make much difference to your life. Yes, Pritish, PU2 result already announced. I don't know, yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, they're announced. One of my student has texted me her scores. Check it. 5 seconds and I'm close the poll. 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and let's stop. Let's stop. Why, Anil? Why do you need their scores, man? Let's see. Okay, so 40% of you think B is correct, 26% of you think A is correct, 21% of you think C is correct, and 15% of you think 13% of you think that D is correct. Dekho beta. So in this case, the correct answer is cancer show metastasis. It's very important to remember that all tumors are not cancer. Only malignant tumors, only malignant tumors are cancers, are considered cancer. Only malignant tumors are considered cancer. Okay, so it's very important to remember that all tumors are not cancer. Benign tumors are not considered cancers. Okay, because the cancerous cells should show the ability to move to different parts of the body. So all tumors are not cancer. Only malignant tumors are cancer. The second is cancer show metastasis. That is true because in cancers we have malignant tumors, and malignant tumors show the property of metastasis. What is metastasis? When they break off from the site of origin to different parts of the body. Now, cancerous cells show property of contact inhibition. This is the opposite. Cancerous cells do not show the property of contact inhibition. And the last is all viruses are oncogenic. That is completely false. There are so many viruses that are not at all oncogenic. Rhinovirus, which causes common cold, that is not at all oncogenic, right? So the correct statement here is option B. Okay, so what is it that we are going to be doing today? So today yesterday we started with cancer. We are done halfway through the cancer. We talked about what is cancer, what causes cancer. Today we'll be looking at how do we diagnose cancer, and how do we treat cancer. And after that, we'll be starting with the last topic of the chapter, which would be addiction, right? So there is tobacco addiction, there is alcohol addiction, there is drug addiction. So today I'll be doing tobacco and alcohol addiction. There will be one full class on drug addiction tomorrow. Okay, so with that, I'll wrap up the chapter tomorrow. Okay, so that is what we have on our agenda today: diagnosis and treatment of cancer, and then alcohol and tobacco addiction. Okay, sure. Start karte beta phir. So let's start the class without any further delay. Okay, so how do we detect and diagnose cancer? Okay, now early detection of cancers is essential as it allows the disease to be treated successfully in many cases, right? तुमने movies में देखा होगा, TV series में देखा होगा, the cancer is in stage 3, I'm sorry, we cannot do anything, right? The person has very few days left. So that is what the first statement means, that early detection of cancer should take place. And the thing is, that is why you should not ignore even the mildest symptoms that your body show, because a lot of times when cancer starts, they show very mild symptoms that you will just ignore. For example, headache, right? So for example, if you have a brain tumor will pop up as nothing but headache, right? You will think that your headache is nothing but migraine. You will take a painkiller, then they will sleep off. But if you have persistent headache, you might think you have a migraine. So most of the cancers just start off with very mild symptoms, very common symptoms. It's not like when you have leukemia, you will suddenly start coughing blood. Okay, that is not how it gets. That is not how it is. Okay, so most of the symptoms are very straightforward. For example, one of my friend, her father had brain tumor. Her father had brain tumor, right? And what was the initial symptom? He had a metallic taste in his mouth. That's it. And most of us most of us ignore, okay, symptoms like the metallic taste. It's okay, you know, who knows, right? And then one day what happened was that her father collapsed, right? And then when they went to the doctor, okay, the doctor said that, it's okay, you know, maybe there's some weakness. He gave some medicine and all, right? And then the metallic test continued, and then he started forgetting things. Things like where he kept his keys and all that stuff. And as then he went to the doctor again. So the doctor is like, you should go for a full body checkup. And then when he went for a full body checkup, when they did an MRI and all that, then they saw a tumor in his brain, right? So a lot of time, cancers, the symptoms of cancer are similar to, a lot of normal diseases that we ignore. Pranav, I do not have full details with whether that was malignant or benign tumor, so I do not know. Okay. Okay. No, Pritesh, unfortunately, that person passed away. Right? Because by the time it was detected, it was already in stage 2, I think, if my memory serves, right? Okay. Yes, Vijayalakshmi, it can be detected. So the thing is, even if you have minor symptoms, you should get yourself checked. Okay. There's no harm in getting yourself checked, because if you catch it early, then it's very easy to get rid of. But if you catch it in second or third stage, then it's near impossible. Okay, I am not saying it's completely impossible, but it becomes very difficult. There are people who have recovered from stage 3 cancer also, but the chance of you surviving become very less, and the toll it takes on your body to recover becomes higher. Okay, Dhanush, I'm not saying it can't be cured in stage 3. It can be, but you have to pay a heavier price to get rid of the tumor. Okay. Okay, so that is why it's important to detect the tumor or the cancer at a very early stage. The earlier you catch it, the easier it will be to get rid of it, and the lesser toll it will take on your body. And how do we detect it? So cancer detection is based on biopsy and histopathological studies of the tissue. Okay, so what we do for cancer detection is we do biopsy. And we study the tissue under the microscope, under advanced microscope, to see, are these cells different from your normal body cells? Okay. So how do we detect? So the most important okay, diagnostic tool that we have is that is your biopsy. And then we do histopathological studies. What is histopathological studies? Okay, so histopathological study means, okay, examination of tissue under the microscope. So that is what histopathology means. Examination of tissue under microscope. Examination of tissue under microscope. So that is what histopathology means, under microscope. Okay, Shashwat, I cannot comment on that, but I'm not a doctor, so I would refrain from saying anything when it comes to that. Okay. Okay. So yeah. And what exactly is biopsy? What happens in biopsy? So in biopsy, what they do is, okay, in biopsy, a piece of the suspected tissue is cut into thin sections. Then it is stained and it is examined under microscope by a pathologist. So as you can see in the image that is shown below, biopsy is taking place. So what you do is that you take a piece of the suspected tissue. So if you think that, so in this case, the women, okay, at least the doctor thinks that the women might have uterine cancer. So the doctor has inserted a biopsy gun, and it is going to now take a tissue from that region. Then the tissue would be cut into very thin slices. It would be stained. Okay, and then it would be viewed under the microscope. And this is known as histopathological study. Whenever you study a tissue under a microscope, that constitutes a histopathological study. So that is what biopsy is. You take a piece of the tissue where you think cancer might be, you cut it into thin slices, you stain it, and you observe it under a microscope. So if you see any abnormalities, in the cell structure, then that means that this tissue might be cancerous. This tissue might be cancerous. Okay, ठीक है? Yes, Meghna, a person who has recovered from cancer, the cancer can come back. Okay, the cancer can come back. Okay, that depends on multiple factors. Okay, in some people it does not, in some people it does. Okay, go on the nerve cells. What, Ishanvi, I did not understand your question, beta. Okay, now techniques like radiography, in which we use X-rays, CT, computer tomography, and MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, are very useful to detect cancers of the internal organ. तो उस पे question आ सकता है, which of the following techniques is not used to detect cancers and internal organs? Okay, cancers in internal organs. ठीक है? So radiography is used. So in radiography, X-rays is used. Radiography, X-ray is used. Okay. Then computer tomography is used, and MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, is used to detect cancer of the internal organs. So biopsy is one way. In biopsy, you take the tissue, you see it under a microscope, or you can image certain parts of the body and then see the images on a computer to determine whether cancer is there in that particular organ or tissue or not. Why is cancer treatment very expensive? Anything that requires a lot of medication, a lot of effort from the doctor is expensive. First aid is not expensive, because first aid mein karna hi kya hota doctor ko? He just has to apply a bandage to your knee or your elbow, right? The more time you're going to spend in a doctor, the more energy a doctor has to expend, and the more medication you have to take, the expensive it becomes. Now, one MRI machine costs crores of rupees, right? So if you are going to use the MRI machine, obviously your bill would be higher. Simple. Okay, no, Pritish, no. Okay, what do you mean by early stage, Kishore? So, okay, I hope this is now clear. Yahan tak clear hai, beta? How do we, yahan tak clear hai? Just give me a quick yes or no. Yahan tak clear hai? Just give me a yes or no. Okay, yahan tak clear hai? Just give me a yes or no. Yes, Divya, beta, these techniques can be utilized for any stage of cancer. Okay, okay, got it. Dhanush, I fail to understand your question, beta. I fail to understand your question. Okay, okay, got it. Aage badhe? Shall we move forward now? Okay, Basu, I do not know. I do not have the stats, beta. Okay, okay, Naren, chicken. That's a good stat. Okay, chalo. No, Shreya. Okay, chalo. The answer to your question is no. Okay. Okay, Kedar, biopsy can be used for any type of cancer, beta. Biopsy can be used for any type of cancer. Okay, Dhanush, I do not understand what you mean by over observation of gadgets. I fail to understand that particular phrase. Okay, chalo. So let's see. Okay, so let's talk about computer tomography. So computer tomography uses X-rays to generate a three-dimensional image of the internals of an object. So in computer tomography, X-rays is used to generate a 3D image, of the internals of your body, right? So you can generate a 3D image of your stomach, you can generate a 3D image of your heart, you can generate the 3D image of your colon, you can generate 3D images of any of your internal organs, any of your internal. Dhanush, you are saying the same question again without changing the phrase of the question or without rephrasing your question. Okay, so how am I going to understand? Just by copy pasting the same question again and again, what would I understand? I've told you I failed to understand that particular phrase. So if you can rephrase your question, I would try to understand it. You're just copy pasting the same question again and again. Can we recover from the cancer completely? Yes, beta. There are a lot of people who have recovered from the cancer completely. Okay, but it can come back also in certain cases. Okay. Now, so what happens in computer tomography? In computer tomography, X-rays are used to generate a 3D image of internals of an object. Okay? And what happens in MRI? So this is an MRI machine. This is an MRI machine. I don't know how many of you have ever seen an MRI machine in real life, or how many of you have been in an MRI machine. So MRI uses strong magnetic fields and non-ionizing radiations to accurately detect pathological and physiological changes in the living tissue. So in MRI uses magnetic field and non-ionizing radiation to accurately study the tissue and the changes that a tissue is undergoing, that a tissue is undergoing. Okay, so MRI machines are very expensive. Not all hospitals have MRI machine, and it is obviously, since it is rare, it is very expensive to get yourself checked in an MRI machine also. Okay, no Sushma, the doctors take care that the person stays inside for the amount of time that is required, and these rays are not harmful. If these rays were harmful, why would we use MRI to detect cancer? Okay, so these rays are not harmful. Okay, do these strong magnetic fields affect humans? What do we mean? What do you mean by affect humans? If it affected humans in any adverse condition, why would the doctor recommend an MRI scan? Right? So obviously the doctors are very smart people. They know what they're doing. So if they were harmful to us, why would the doctor put a cancer patient into an MRI machine? Right? There's some things that you can also think over, right? If they were harmful, why would they recommend to us? Anyway, now, antibodies against cancer specific antigens are also used for detection of certain cancers. So there are certain cancers in which the antigens that are expressed on the cancerous cells is different from the antigens that is expressed on your normal body cells. Okay? Yes, Ritesh. Okay, and in that case, what we do is that we check those cancers by introducing cancers. Okay, by introducing cancer specific antibodies. So, what are the ways in which cancer can be detected? What are the ways in which cancer can be detected? So cancer can be detected by biopsy, in which you take a thin slice of the suspected tissue and you observe it under a microscope. It can be detected by radiography, which uses X-rays. It can be detected by CT scan, that is computer tomography, which also uses X-ray to generate a 3D image. And then MRI is also used, which uses magnetic fields, okay, magnetic fields and non-ionizing radiations. Okay, Atharv, in the third point, beta, as I said, there are some cancers in which the antigens that are being expressed on them is different from the antigens that are expressed on normal cells. They express some extra antigens which are not expressed by normal body cells. Okay, so in that case, certain antibodies are given to the person to check if they have those cancers or not. Okay. Is this test done only once? Vijayalakshmi, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot say how many times these tests are done. Obviously, if the doctor sees a symptom, the doctor recommends a particular test. If the test comes out to be negative, maybe the person does not have. Okay. If cancer is detected in first stage, means it can be cured. Rahul, this is the fourth time answering the same question. The chances of a cancer being cured in the first stage is higher than it is in the second or third stage. The later you detect it, the harder it becomes. Okay, got it? No, Sampada, biopsy is used for other things also, but primarily it is used for cancer. Okay. Vedant, again, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot tell which techniques are used for which type of cancers. From what my limited knowledge tells me is that if the cancer is on the internal organs, okay, organs that it is very difficult to do biopsy on, right? In that case, you go for MRI scan. Right. For example, in the previous image, the doctor suspected that the cancer was in uterus. So that is something, you can insert a biopsy gun through the vagina. But if, let's say, I have stomach cancer, now the doctor cannot cut open my stomach just because he suspects I might have cancer and then take a tissue from there. So in that case, the doctor will recommend me an MRI scan. That you should get an MRI scan. And if I have any kind of cancer or there's anything wrong with my tissue, then they'll see it on the MRI scan. Okay. Pritish, I do not know. Again, not a doctor beta, so I cannot comment on that. Okay, I just know the biology behind it. Yeah, I just know how it works. Okay, that is the cellular regulation behind it. I do not know the medical things. Yeah, like what is the difference between stage 1 and stage 2? How much time does it take from progress from stage 1 and stage 2? Okay. Beta, because there is difference. So CT and MRI both are used for different organs, right? I'm not sure, but I think one of them is used for those organs in which fluid is present, and the other one is used for hollow organs. I'm not sure which one is for which, but I think that is a key difference. There was a point when I knew the difference between CT and MRI scan. Now I don't, okay? Because there was a point when I was interested in all this, but I've forgotten over time. Okay. Yes, Bhumika, the chance is always there. Yeah, chance is always there. ठीक है, yes विजय लक्ष्मी. Okay, ठीक है, आगे बढ़े. Shall I move forward? Basu, all these techniques are extremely safe. Okay, these techniques do not harm the human in any way. ठीक है, yes Vijayta. Okay, so I hope this is now clear. Let's move forward now. Sure, let's move forward. So that is how you detect and diagnose cancer. Okay, ठीक है. Now, why is it important? Okay, and there are some people in which the cancer runs through the history. For example, if your mother had breast cancer, then if you are a female, then you also have a very high chance or relatively higher chance of getting breast cancer, right? So it's very important. So now people are also using molecular biology. So techniques of molecular biology can be applied to detect genes in individuals with inherited susceptibility to certain cancers. So for example, if there is history of any particular type of cancer in your family, then now molecular biology techniques are available to see if those same genes are present in you or not. Okay? So identification of such genes which predispose an individual to certain cancers may be very helpful in prevention of cancer. So what does the second statement says? The second statement says that identification of such genes, right? Identification of oncogenes early on is very important in prevention of cancers, right? So if we can detect that a person has an oncogene even before that oncogene has been triggered, so that will help us in prevention of cancer, right? Not only cure kab karte hai when you have it, but we can prevent cancer from coming itself. Okay? So such individuals may be advised to avoid exposure to particular carcinogens to which they are susceptible. So that is the benefit of identifying oncogenes before itself, because once we establish that this person contains certain oncogenes, we know that what triggers those oncogenes. So we can tell the person that you should stay away from these things, because these things can trigger the oncogenes present in your cell. So that is what basically this particular slide means, that with the help of molecular biology, we can check for presence or absence of oncogenes in a particular individual, especially in those individuals which have a history of cancer, in which there's a family history of cancer. And then once we identify those genes, once we identify the oncogenes, then we can tell the individuals to avoid exposure to those things which can trigger those oncogenes into an activated form. And with the help of this, we can prevent cancer in those individuals. Can cancer be carried from a parent to a child? Dekho beta, if a parent has cancer, the child may or may not inherit that oncogene from the parent. बच्चे में बचपन से नहीं होगा, right? Because oncogenes need a trigger to get activated. The child may inherit that oncogene from the parent. Now it depends if the child inherits, then it depends on, does the child come in contact with a carcinogen that is responsible for triggering that oncogene? If the child comes in contact with that particular carcinogen, then the child might also have cancer. वो कभी भी हो सकता है, maybe at the age of 40, the oncogene gets activated. But by birth, the child will not have cancer, if that's what you're asking. Like, let's say if I have cancer, hypothetically, let's say if I have, leukemia, tomorrow I have a child. Okay. So my child will not be born with leukemia, if that is what your question is, right? If that is what your question is. So hypothetically, if I have a particular type of cancer, tomorrow if I have a child, my child will not have that particular cancer from birth. Okay. Pritesh, hypothetically, beta, chalo, let's see. Today I'm diagnosed with leukemia. Tomorrow I get married. In 1 year, I have a child. Okay. So it is not necessary. Okay. If my child will not have leukemia from birth, if that is what the question is. is. Okay, so that was your detection and diagnosis. So is detection and diagnosis of cancer clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no, beta. Okay, is detection of cancer clear, detection and diagnosis of cancer clear to everybody? Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं फिर. Let's see. So now, how do we treat cancer? How do we treat cancer? So there are 4 methods of treating cancer: surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy. Chemotherapy is the most common one which you have seen, cancer is seen in other primates, but other cancer is not only seen in other primates, cancer is seen in other animals also. Dogs को भी cancer होता है, cats को भी cancer होता है. Okay, ठीक है. Yes, Kirtan, the child may inherit genes which can get activated later, but by birth नहीं होगा. ठीक है? Okay, so these are the 4 treatment for cancer. Let's go through each one of them. Let's go through each one of them individually. Does cancer spread? No, beta. If I have cancer, okay, and a person comes and hugs me, kisses me, has sex with me, he or she will not get cancer, if that is what your question is, right? Cancer is not contagious. Okay, this is something I told when I started the chapter also, when I was talking about diseases, non-contagious diseases. Cancer is an example of non-contagious diseases. Okay, sure. So let's talk about these treatments. So surgery. So surgery involves removal of the entire cancerous tissue. So you cut open the person and then you remove the entire cancerous tissue. Okay. So, and this can be done with the help of a scalpel. This can be done with the help of a laser also. So in surgery, as the name suggests, you cut open the person and you remove the entire cancerous tissue. This is best in benign tumors. In malignant, it becomes difficult because in malignant, the cancer has spread to different parts of the body. So you cannot cut open different parts of the body to remove the tissue. So this is best for benign tumor because benign tumor stays at one particular place. You cut open that place, you remove the tumor. In malignant tumor, we rarely go for surgery. Okay? So what do we do? What can we do for other types of tumors? What can we do for malignant tumors? So there are other methods also. So radiotherapy is the next one. So what is radiotherapy? It involves the exposure of cancerous parts of the body to X-rays, which destroy rapidly growing cells without harming the surrounding tissue. Okay? So in radiotherapy, what we do is that we expose the cancerous tissue to X-rays, and these X-rays destroy these rapidly growing cells. Basically, what we do is that we mark these cells with these isotopes, that is radon, cobalt, and iodine. So the cancerous tissues are marked by these isotopes, and then the cells that take up these isotopes, they are treated with radiotherapy. No, Rohit, no. Okay? So what is radiotherapy? So in radiotherapy, what happens is the cancerous cells are exposed to X-rays, which divide the rapidly growing cells, but not the surrounding cells. Again, cancer is localized in one particular part of the body. If it is spread to multiple parts of the body, then again radiotherapy has limited implications. But it is still better than surgery. Okay, so that is the first 2 methods of treatment. So the first method is surgery. The second method is radiotherapy. In surgery, you cut open the person, you remove the tumor. In radiotherapy, you treat the cancerous cells with X-rays. Okay, okay, and then what happens is it destroys the rapidly growing cells and not the surrounding tissue. So the image that you see, that is a person undergoing radiotherapy. So as you can see, it is non-invasive. There is no cutting, there's nothing, there's no opening up. Okay, the only problem is that my laptop is at 34%. It says that it will last for 46 minutes, which is more than enough. Okay, but let's see how it goes. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so we are done with the first 2 methods. Of treatment of cancer. The first 2 methods of treatment of cancer were your radiotherapy and surgery. Now let's move to your next method of treatment, and that is chemotherapy, something that all of you might have heard of in movies, TVs, and other places. So Chemotherapy. What is chemotherapy? So chemotherapy, chemo means chemical. So chemicals are administered, or you can say anti-cancer drugs. Anti-cancer drugs are given to the patient. Okay, and what do they do? So these drugs check cell division by inhibiting DNA synthesis. So what do these drugs do? These drugs check the cell division by inhibiting DNA synthesis. So DNA synthesis in cancerous cells is inhibited, and as a result of that, the growth rate of the cancerous cells slows down. Okay, and these drugs are more toxic to cancerous cells than to normal cells. Okay, so they are toxic. They are more toxic to cancerous cells than to normal cells. Dekho, more toxic bola, that means they are still toxic to normal cells also, right? And thus these drugs kill cancerous cells. Okay, so what do we do in chemotherapy? In chemotherapy, basically we treat that person with anti-cancer drugs. We treat the person with anti-cancer drugs, and these drugs inhibit cell division by inhibiting DNA synthesis. Now they are more dangerous to cancerous cells, but they are also to some extent harmful for the normal cells, and that is why chemotherapy has those side effects. That is why a lot of cancer patients, they lose their hair, because one of the common type of cells that the anti-cancer drugs are effective against is your hair cells. So what they do is that they end up killing your hair cells. That is why people who suffer from cancer, when they start undergoing chemotherapy, they start losing their hair, because those anti-cancer drugs are targeting your hair cells also. Because the problem with chemotherapy is they check the cells division of cancer cells, but in the end, cancer cells are nothing but part of your own cells. So you cannot make them hyper specific. You cannot make them super specific, right? If the antigens present on the cancerous cells were different from the antigens present on the rest of the body, then you can make anti-cancer drugs very specific. But the problem with cancerous cells is, most of the cancers, is that the antigen present on the antigen present on the normal cells is the same as the antigen present on your cancerous cells also. That is why when you take anti-cancer drugs, those drugs also affect your normal cells. So that is why majority of these drugs have side effects like hair loss, anemia, etc. Okay, so that is the problem with chemotherapy. Okay, but once you complete the course, once the cancer is gone, then your hair will grow back. They will resist, they will stop your hair growth and other cells that they're destroyed, as long as you're taking the drugs. So people who have recovered from cancer, you see that they develop their hair. Yes, they might not be as full-fledged as they were before, but you will recover back most of your hair. So if somebody asks you next time, why do cancer patients lose hair? The straight up reason for that is, one second. Yeah. Okay, so the straight up reason for that is because anti-cancer drugs are not specific. Okay, they are not hyper specific. They are specific to some extent, but they are not hyper specific. So they end up affecting other cells also, like your hair cells, your blood cells, etc. So that is what happens in chemotherapy. That is why happen in chemotherapy. In some people, they can't resist chemotherapy. Why is it so? What do you mean by that? I fail to understand that statement, beta. Jyoti, what are you trying to say? Okay, it's also very painful during medication. Beta, Advait, it's not painful. You have side effects. You might vomit, okay, because these drugs are very strong. So there are side effects, but it's not painful. Okay, no, Vedant, no. Okay. Chetan, I do not know what that is. That sounds like something very hocus pocus, something that's not scientific. So I'm not going to comment on that. Naren, anemia is not a cancer, beta. Anemia is not a cancer. Anemia is low RBC count in your blood. Anemia is not a cancer. Okay. Okay. Chalo. Aage badhe. So that is your chemotherapy. Okay. Now, let's talk about the last one, that is immunotherapy. Let's talk about the last one, that is immunotherapy. So what does immunotherapy involve? So immunotherapy involves natural anti-cancer immunological defense mechanism. So in immunotherapy, what people do is that they trigger the immune system of a person in such a way that it starts acting against the cancerous cells. It starts acting against the cancerous cells. Okay. So what happens is the patients are given substances called biological response modifiers. The patients are given substances known as biological response modifiers, such as alpha interferon. This is very important, such as alpha interferon. And what it does is it activates their immune system and helps in destroying the tumor. It helps in activating the immune system and destroying the tumor. The exact underlying mechanism of how it takes place is not exactly clear. So these are alpha interferon injections. So these are alpha interferon injections. So people are given injections of alpha interferon, and what they do is that they activate the immune system in such a way that the immune system helps in destroying, but the immune system starts destroying the tumor cells. Okay, so in immunotherapy, the patients are given certain biological response modifiers, okay, such as alpha interferons. And what they do is that they activate their immune system, and the immune system helps in destroying the cancer. Yes, Chetan, I stand by my statement. There are no natural antibodies produced against cancerous cells, but once the patient is administered with alpha interferon, the immune system generates an immune response to the tumor cells. Okay? Okay. Now, most cancers are treated by combination of surgery, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy. So there is no one single method. There is no one single method which is used. There is no one single method which is used, okay, for treatment of cancer. Usually it involves surgery, thoda radiotherapy, thoda chemotherapy. You cannot just go with one particular method unless you have a benign tumor. Okay, now I got a lot of doubts. What if someone takes cancer medication without cancer? So if someone takes a cancer medication without cancer, then it will end up harming your own body cells, because the cancer medication are there to treat cells that are rapidly dividing. So if there is no cells for them to act on, then they would end up harming your own body cells. Okay. People hesitate to take cancer medications when they have cancer. So obviously, if they do not have cancer, then the response would be very bad, because they'll end up killing a lot of your own body cells, which is the costliest treatment. Not a doctor, cannot comment on that. Okay. Veerbhadra, not a doctor, cannot comment on that. Okay. Pritish, I would say think about it. Okay. Okay. Why still chemotherapy is done in most of the cases, though it has so many side effects? Because that is our best method, because that is our best way. Seedha sa baat itna hai, jaan pyari hai ya baal. If you think your hair are more precious to you, you are free not to go for chemotherapy. Okay. So that is the case. Okay. Chemotherapy people go for because it is our best shot. Yeah. That is the sole reason. Okay. Okay. Athar beta, immunotherapy is not effective against all type of cancer. It is effective only against certain type of cancer. Okay. Okay. Why lasers can't be used in destroying cancerous cells? Laser is used. So when they do perform surgery, not all tumors are removed by scalpel. If the tumors are present in areas which are hard to reach by, then laser is used. But again, if your cancer is present in multiple parts of the body, what are you going to do? Cut open multiple parts and then use laser to remove them? Okay. Chalo. So I hope is treatment clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no, beta. Is treatment clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no. Okay. 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 Jyoti cannot comment on that. Not a doctor, beta. Okay. Beta, chemotherapy is not a short treatment. Tanya, chemotherapy is not a short treatment, but it is your best shot. It is your best shot. Okay? If it's lung cancer, do they remove part of the lungs? What do you mean by part of the lungs? They cannot just chop off the lungs. They will remove the cancerous tissues. Okay? Okay. Chetan, because I do not have sufficient underlying knowledge of it, so I cannot comment here, beta. I cannot comment here. Okay. Chalo. So now I hope cancer treatment is clear to everybody. Okay. Chalo. So now we will move to the next topic, that is addiction. We will move to the next topic, that is addiction. So what is addiction? Okay. What is addiction? So addiction is the habitual, psychological, and physiological and psychological dependence on a substance or practice which is beyond voluntary control. Which is beyond voluntary control. No, Kedar, for the most part, no. Okay, so what is addiction? Addiction is when you are dependent on an object or on a substance, okay, beyond the voluntary control. It is not in your control. It is the not in your control. Chetna cannot comment on that, beta, not a doctor. Okay. Okay. So that is voluntary control. That is what voluntary control. Okay. So my recommendation is you guys have a lot of questions, right? I am assuming that all of you go to doctor visits at least once or twice a year. I would recommend that have a 5-minute conversation with doctors. Doctors usually engage in that because I do, right? And then you will end up learning a lot of stuff here. Okay. The reason is I have some ideas about the questions that you guys are saying, but I do not want to give false information. It's better to have no information at all than false information. So that is why I'm referring to comment on those things which require medical knowledge. I can tell you the underlying mechanism, how it happens. I cannot tell you, medical things. How long does it take to recover from cancer and all that stuff? Okay. No, Pritesh, you should not ask them in an intimidating manner. Sir, cancer kya hota hai? Ask them, sir. How much time does it take to get cured from cancer? What is the best method of getting yourself treated when you have cancer? You can ask all this here. You can all ask all this. Very good, Suhas. Okay. So anyway, I'm done with cancer now. I'm done with cancer now. So I will not be taking any more questions on cancer. You have any more questions on cancer, you stay back after the class. Okay. So what is addiction? Addiction is when you are dependent on a substance or a practice by habit. Okay, your mind is dependent on it, your body is dependent on it, and it is beyond your voluntary control. That is an addiction. That is an addiction. Okay, and a person who is habituated to a substance, that is a person who is dependent on a substance or a practice, especially a harmful one, is called an addict. Is called an addict. So a person who is dependent on a particular substance or practice completely, that person is called an addict. That person is called an addict. And what is addiction? Addiction is being completely dependent on a particular practice or a substance, okay, both physically as well as mentally, beyond your voluntary control. You do not have any control over it. You cannot stop yourself from doing it. That is addiction. Okay. And basically addiction is a disease of more. Basically addiction is a disease of more. Basically addiction is a disease of more. What is disease of more? An active addict needs an increasing amount of substance to get high and is unable to cease usage without painful withdrawal symptoms. So that is the worst thing. That is the worst thing about addiction. The worst thing about addiction is that every time you would need a slightly higher dose to achieve the same effect. For example, let me take a very non-harmful caffeine. It's present in coffee, right? So caffeine is a stimulant. This is something we'll be studying tomorrow. Okay, what is a stimulant and all that stuff. So stimulant, it keeps your body active, it keeps your mind active, I should say, right? So the first time when you'll drink coffee, 1 cup would be more than enough to keep you active for, let's say, next 2 hours. But the next time when you'll go for it, you would need slightly more amount to keep yourself active for the same 2 hours. And that is the problem with addiction, that every time in order to get the same effect, you would need a slightly higher dose. You would need a slightly higher dose, right? So if the first time 1 cup was enough to keep you active for 2 hours, next time you would need slightly more than 1 cup to keep you active for 2 hours. Or if you just drink 1 cup, you would be active for slightly less time. So you would need to consume more and more. You would need to consume more and more every time to achieve the same effect. So that is why we call it disease of more, right? That an increasing amount of substance is needed to get high and to achieve the same level of mental state that you achieved last time. And you cannot stop it without going through a very painful process, Okay. So I hope yahan tak clear hai. I hope yahan tak introduction to addiction is clear. I hope introduction to addiction is clear. Just give me a yes or no. Introduction to addiction is clear. Okay. Introduction to addiction is clear. I hope. Okay. Okay. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now. Okay. Okay. Pritish, I'll be talking about that. Pritish, do not worry, I'll be talking about that. So, with repeated use of drugs, the tolerance level of the receptors present in our body increases. So, these all drugs, these are chemicals, and there are receptors for these chemicals in our body. And the problem is that, okay, the more you consume them, the more receptors for those compounds will pop up on your cells. So obviously those receptors will also want to be satisfied. So that is why the tolerance keeps on building. That is why the tolerance level keeps on building. That is why the need for consuming more and more of that keeps on building. Because the more you consume these substances, the more receptors for these substances pop up on your cells. Okay. Okay? Now, consequently, the receptors respond only to higher doses of drugs or alcohol, leading to greater intake and addiction. So they go. First, there was a cell. Let's say it had only 2 receptors for caffeine. Okay. So first time coffee piya. Okay. Let's say you drank coffee a few times. Okay. So what will happen is that these receptors will bind to the caffeine molecules and they will activate the cell. But the more coffee you will drink, the more receptors will pop up. So in order to get your cell activated the same way it was, all these receptors need to be filled again. Pehle kya tha, only if you fill up 2 receptors, this is again a hypothetical example, okay, that if you just fill up 2 receptors, that is enough to keep the cell active. But now there are multiple receptors. Now there are more than 2 receptors, and all those receptors need to be filled in order for the cell to be active the same way it was. That is why higher and higher doses of drugs or alcohol are required to get the same effect, because the more you take these substances, the more the receptors for them pop up, and then in order to achieve the same effect, all these receptors need to be satisfied. Okay, so it should be clearly borne in mind that use of the drugs even once can be a forerunner to addiction. That if you have drugs even once, that most probably will lead to addiction. So there is no such thing as ek baar kar le kuch nahi hota. Okay, because if you try drugs even once, that would most probably lead to addiction, because your receptors to these drugs are highly okay, what is the term for that? Highly stimulative. So it's very important to avoid drugs at all cost. Again, this is something I'll be going in much more detail in tomorrow's lecture, mostly about drugs. Today we'll be focusing on tobacco and alcohol. So why drugs, alcohol are addictive in nature? The reason why they're addictive in nature is because the receptors become more and more tolerant. So in order to achieve the same effect that you achieved the first time, you need a higher dose. And that builds up tolerance. And then you get addicted to that particular substance. Where are receptors present? Basangada, the receptors would obviously be present on the cell surface. Where else would the receptors be present? Okay, chalo. Aage badhte hain fir beta. Now, okay, the addictive potential of drugs and alcohol pull the user into a vicious circle, leading to their regular use or abuse, from which he/she may not be able to get out. may not be able to get out. Okay, so what am I trying to say here? That once you get addicted to drugs or alcohol, then you need to consume them. Then you have craving for these things, and now you're caught in a vicious cycle from which you cannot get out of, from which you cannot get out of. Okay, and if you want to get out of it, if suddenly by some mistake, let's say you're addicted to a particular drug, and suddenly you cannot get the drug next day, so what will happen is that you will have something known as withdrawal symptom. So dependence is the tendency of the body to manifest a characteristic and unpleasant withdrawal symptom if regular dose of drugs/alcohol is abruptly discontinued. So your body will become dependent on it, but if I take it out, if I stop it immediately, let's say a person is, so this is true, right? One of my friend, he smokes a lot of cigarettes, right? And so during lockdown, what happened was, everything was closed, right? So obviously getting cigarettes was also very, very difficult because cigarette shops were not open. And after 7 days of not smoking cigarettes, after going through 7 days of not smoking cigarettes, his hands started shivering, because now his body is flushing out that nicotine that it has accumulated for such a long time. So that is what withdrawal symptom is. Okay, and in case of cigarette, it is very mild. You will have shakes, you will become anxious. But in case of drugs, the withdrawal symptoms can be violent. You would puke, okay? You would not be able to sleep. You would have fever. So that is what withdrawal symptom is. Okay? So withdrawal symptom is symptoms that occur when the drug or the alcohol is suddenly discontinued. That leads to withdrawal symptoms. Okay? So what are some of the common withdrawal symptoms? Some of the common withdrawal symptoms are anxiety, shakiness, nausea, and sweating, which may be relieved when use is resumed again. Right? So if you want to get rid of the withdrawal symptoms, then you have to start consuming those drugs or alcohol again. That is the only way to get rid of the withdrawal symptoms immediately. Otherwise, you have to let it run its full course. Okay? And in some cases, withdrawal symptoms can be severe and even life-threatening, and the person may need medical supervision. Because as you can see, some of the common withdrawal symptoms are headache, nausea, anxiety, sweating, insomnia, decreased appetite. Okay, so that is the worst thing about drugs and alcohol, that you get addicted to them. What is the way to come out of that? So there are treatments. Okay, so first thing is, you do not stop it abruptly. You gradually lower the amount. And what you do is that you start the person on compounds that are similar to the drugs but do not cause the same effect, and then you gradually get the person out of it. But there will always be a withdrawal symptom. Then that is something that I have personally seen also. For example, in Punjab there is drug crisis, right? Every unemployed youth has taken drugs at one point or the other. Okay, so there are rehabilitation centers in Punjab. Every city, every district has multiple rehabilitation centers. And if you go to a rehabilitation center, you will see literally people chained to the bed because they are crying in pain. They are puking all over the floor. They are sweating. They cannot sleep. That is what insomnia is. They cannot sleep. And they want to run away from the rehabilitation center so that they can go back and do drugs again. Right? So that is the problem with drugs. That when you start getting rid of them, then it becomes very difficult for the body, because your body is completely used to it now, and now you are depriving the body of something. So you would have withdrawal symptoms. Okay. Okay, so Sahana is asking how taking Nicotex reduces withdrawal syndrome, because Nicotex has a structure similar to nicotine, but it does not have any of the adverse effects of nicotine. So your receptors get the necessary compound, but there is no harmful effects. Okay. Yes, drugs is banned in India, but there are a lot of things that are banned in India. What is banned in India is also driving without a helmet. You cannot drive without a helmet, but people still drive without a helmet, right? Because people are dumb. Okay. Again, what does Nicotex mean? So Nicotex is actually a tablet that is given to people who want to get rid of smoking. Okay. What is an e-cigarette? So e-cigarette, as the name suggests, okay, so e-cigarette, you have to light it up. You do not have to light it up. Okay. So there is a what do I call it? Incinerator of the tobacco present between the cigarette. Okay, you have to fill it with tobacco every time you want to smoke. Okay. Yes, Samritesh, obviously it is. Okay, but totally they will get rid by treatment. Yes, Anushri, that once so withdrawal symptoms will last for few days or few weeks depending on how long the person was addicted to the drugs. Once it has been flushed out, once the drugs is completely out of the system, then the person will be back to normal. Then the person will be back. Chetna beta, abhi maine bataya insomnia, when the person cannot sleep. Okay, okay, chalo, aage badhte hain now. So addiction is of three types, beta: tobacco addiction, alcohol addiction, and drug addiction. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about tobacco addiction first. Okay. So tobacco is Nicotiana tabacum and Nicotiana rustica. So we obtain tobacco from these two plants, and these two plants belong to the family of Solanaceae. Okay, padha hoga, examples padhe honge Solanaceae. Okay, in 11th standard. So tobacco is obtained from Nicotiana tabacum, and Nicotiana rustica, and they belong to the family Solanaceae. Okay. And tobacco has been used by human beings for more than 400 years. It is smoked, it is chewed, or it is used as snuff. Used as snuff ka matlab kya? To snort it, to take it directly through the nose. Okay. So, sorry. Yeah. So, tobacco is obtained from Nicotiana tabacum and Nicotiana rustica. Okay. This is your Nicotiana tabacum. It belongs to the family of Solanaceae, and it has been used by humans for over 400 years. It is smoked, tambaku mein, right? It is smoked as in cigarettes. It is chewed as in tambaku, and it is used as snuff, where people directly take it into their nose, where people powder it off and directly take it into their nose. Okay. Yes, Anil, because people are dumb. Okay. So, okay, what is heroin? Beta, main drugs ka baat karunga kya aaj? Are you deliberately trying to trigger me up? Did I say I'll talk about drugs today? You asked about heroin when I'm talking about drugs. Do not worry. Okay. Okay. Now, tobacco contains large number of chemical substances, including nicotine, which is an alkaloid. This is the structure of nicotine. Okay. So tobacco contains a lot of chemical substances. The most prominent one of them, which is harmful for us, is nicotine, which is an alkaloid. What does nicotine do? Nicotine stimulates adrenal gland to release adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, nicotine stimulates adrenal gland to release adrenaline and noradrenaline into blood circulation, both of which raise blood pressure and increase heartbeat. That is why people who smoke cigarettes, they have high blood pressure. That is why people who have smoked cigarettes, people who smoke cigarettes have high blood pressure, and they have a higher chance of heart disease, because it causes release of adrenaline and noradrenaline into blood circulation. And we know that, if you remember your 11th standard last chapter, both of these are responsible for increasing the blood pressure and the heartbeat. Okay, now smoking. Okay. Smoking is associated with increased incidence of cancer of lung. So nicotine makes it addictive, but nicotine does not cause cancer. It is benzeprine that causes cancer. That causes cancer. Okay, and it causes cancer of lungs, urinary bladder, throat, bronchitis, it causes emphysema, it causes coronary heart disease, gastric ulcer, etc. Okay, so the cancer is caused by benzbrine, which is present in tobacco. It can cause cancer of lungs, urinary bladder and throat, bronchitis, that is inflammation of the bronchi, emphysema. Okay, emphysema ho sakta hai, where the walls are damaged, where the alveolar walls are damaged. Then coronary heart disease. Okay, and then gastric ulcer can also be seen. Gastric ulcers can also be seen. Tobacco chewing associated with cancer cavity. If you smoke it, then you will have cancer. Then you'll have cancer of the throat or of the lungs. If you chew it, then you will have cancer of the throat. Then you will have cancer of the throat. Sorry, cancer of the mouth. Okay, cancer of the mouth. Okay, so that is depending on how you are taking it, you will have cancer of that particular area. Smoking also increases carbon and reduces the concentration of heme-bound oxygen. Now, if you remember, carbon monoxide has higher affinity for hemoglobin than oxygen. So what happens is that the carbon monoxide content in the blood will increase. Carbon monoxide content in the blood will increase, and as a result of that, the concentration of the oxygen, the partial pressure of the oxygen in the blood will decrease. So as a result of that, your normal body tissues would receive lesser oxygen than they do usually. So this causes oxygen deficiency in the body. Okay? So is tobacco addiction clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. Is tobacco addiction clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no. Is tobacco addiction clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no, beta. Is tobacco addiction clear to everybody? Okay? So what all you need to remember? Where do we obtain tobacco from? How tobacco is taken? What does it contain? What effect nicotine has? What effect? No, Atta. What effect nicotine has on your body? What effect benzbrine has on your body? Okay, sorry. And what are the effects of smoking? Okay, and then how it can adversely affect our body. Those are the things that you need to remember about. Okay, those are things that you need to remember about. Tobacco addiction. Okay, chalo. Now let's move forward to your. Okay, so one last thing, a graphic image to help you guys. What are the risks of smoking? It can cause brain damage if you are a consistent smoker, lung cancer. Okay, you can have larynx cancer. Okay, sexual dysfunction. So it is seen that people who smoke a lot, the sperm count is low in them, or the women do not menstruate regularly. Okay, and then you can have heart disease. Then you can also have death. And these are the compounds that cigarette contain, which are harmful for us. They contain tar, which accumulate in your lung and give your lung that black color. They contain arsenic, which is responsible for brain damage. They contain lead, formaldehyde. They contain mercury. They contain polonium-210. They contain carbon monoxide. They contain nicotine. They contain cadmium. They contain acetone. All those things, none of these things are good for your body. So you should never smoke cigarette. Okay? Or you should never chew tobacco itself. Now, when one buys packets of cigarettes, one cannot miss the statutory warning that is present on the package. So, हमने देखा होगा that on cigarette packets, okay, in cigarette packets there is all these warnings. In cigarette packets there are all these warnings, but still people are dumb enough to smoke cigarettes, despite the fact that it takes a lot of toll, not only on you but also on your family. Yet smoking is very prevalent in society, both among young and old. Okay? And knowing the dangers of smoking and chewing tobacco and its addictive nature, the youth and old need to avoid these habits. So Abhi, all those students who have attended today's class, I do not want any of you smoking cigarettes or chewing tobacco in the future, because it's bad for you, bad for your family also. It's not good for anybody. So do not do it. Okay, cancer is not a good disease to have here. Cancer is not at all a good disease to have. Okay, so stay safe. Do not 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 smoke cigarettes. Do not smoke cigarettes. Okay. So is it compulsory for company to mention the dangers? Yes, Satar. In India, it is absolutely mandatory to mention the adverse effects of smoking. So Anil has asked what is hookah. Anil has asked what is hookah. Okay. Hookah is something that previously people used to think that was a good alternative for smoking, because in hookah tobacco is not present. But in hookah, when someone smokes a hookah, then they end up taking way more carbon monoxide than they take when they are smoking cigarettes. So if you consume hookah, then the concentration of carbon monoxide in your blood rapidly increases, and continuous hookah for a very long time can lead to stroke and coronary diseases. So hookah is also not good. Okay, it does not cause cancer, but it can lead to other diseases. Okay, Ashwarya, whoever says that alcohol is good for health in small quantities is lying. Alcohol is not good for our health in any quantity. Okay. Okay, let's move forward now. Okay, let's move to alcohol addiction. Raghav, they are wrong. Okay, so how is alcohol manufactured? Alcohol is manufactured by fermentation of sugars. Yes, Veerbhadra, I'm feeling fine. It's just that I think my I forgot. I think while taking in the saliva, I think part of it touched the epiglottis. So that's why I have a cough. Okay. Okay. I'll drink water anyway. I'll finish up this topic, then okay. So alcohol is manufactured by fermentation of sugars. Okay. So when drinking of excessive alcohol is done, that impairs one's physical, physiological and psychological function, it constitutes alcohol abuse. Okay, so first thing, not every person who drinks alcohol is an alcohol abuser or is an alcoholic. You're an alcoholic if you need to drink it daily in large amount. Then you're an alcoholic. And in that case, your physical, physiological and psychological functions will be impaired. Okay, so dependence or addiction of alcohol is called alcoholism, and the addict is termed as alcoholic, and the addict is termed as alcoholic. Okay. Okay, so what happens once you drink alcohol? So alcohol is quickly absorbed in the stomach and upper part of small intestine and is transferred to the blood. Okay? The blood carries alcohol to the liver, where liver synthesizes fat from alcohol. From the liver, the alcohol is carried to different parts of the body. From the liver, the alcohol is carried to different parts of the body. Okay? Vijata, I'll come to it. Do not worry. Okay? So what happens is, once you drink alcohol, the alcohol gets absorbed in the stomach and upper part of small intestine. From there it is transferred to blood. Okay, and then the blood carries it to liver, where liver converts into fat. So that is why if you drink alcohol a lot, your normal liver turns into a fatty liver. You end up with a fatty liver disease because too much fat is accumulated in your liver. So all those small droplets that you see, all those whitish droplets that you see, those are fatty deposits. Then once part of the alcohol has been converted to fat by the liver, the rest of the alcohol is taken to different parts of the body. So it goes to your brain, it goes to your heart, it goes to other different parts of the body. Okay? Now, after effects of alcohol consumption depend on the amount of alcohol consumed. Depend on the amount of alcohol consumed. So at small doses, there will be lack of motor coordination. Lack of motor coordination means what? Your hands, you will lose coordination of your hands a bit. You will not be able to walk completely straight. थोड़ा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा चलोगे, right? So there will be lack of motor coordination. There will be impairment of judgment. You will not make the best decisions of your life while you're drunk. And shorter attention span. Shorter attention span. Okay, you would quickly keep on changing topics because your attention span is shortened. So that is what happens. That is what happens. Okay. Pratibha, if you keep doing it continuously, only then. Okay, so at small doses, there will be slight lack of motor coordination. हाथ और पाँव थोड़े काम नहीं करेंगे ढंग से. You'll not make your best decisions in life while you're drunk, and you will have a shorter attention span. At higher volumes, the person will experience loss of memory, which is known as blackout. Lack of comprehension. Okay, the person will not be able to comprehend what you're saying. He'll be asking you to repeat again and again. There will be imbalance, blurred vision. The person would not be able to see clearly. Vomiting, and then eventually the person will pass out. So if you drink way too much alcohol in one go, you will experience blackout. That is loss of memory. You will not be able to comprehend. What the other person is saying. Imbalance. You will not be able to walk straight. You will have blurred vision. You will vomit, and then you will pass out. Okay, is wine injurious to health? Vineet, any alcoholic beverage, doesn't matter whether it's beer, whiskey, rum, scotch, tequila, vodka, wine, anything that contains alcohol is injurious to health. Why will that person vomit? So vomit is a way of your body rejecting the alcohol, telling you ho gaya beta aur mat piyo. Okay, so that is why you vomit. Vomit is your body telling you stop it, we cannot take it anymore. So that is your body rejecting the alcohol. So that is why people vomit when they drink too much. That is their body telling them stop it bhai aur nahi sa jata. Okay, so now the use of alcohol during adolescence may have long-term effects. Dekho, it's one thing that adults, if adults consume, but teenagers, adolescents, at no cost should they try alcohol because your body is still developing. So if any deformity is formed during this stage, then they will persist throughout their life. Dekho, at no point alcoholism is good. It is especially not good when you are teenagers. Okay? It could lead to heavy drinking in adulthood. Okay? And chronic use of drugs and alcohol damages nervous system and liver, which is known as cirrhosis. So this is a liver that has undergone cirrhosis. Okay, so that is what your liver would look like if you drink heavily. Okay? And use of alcohol during pregnancy is also known to adversely affect the fetus. So females who like drinking, if they drink during pregnancy, then the fetus is adversely affected. So those are the long-term effects of alcoholism. There are short-term effects which depend on how much you have drunk. There are long-term effects where you will have fatty liver and you will have liver cirrhosis. Again, one-time consumption is not bad, but the problem is that one-time consumption leads to more consumption. So it's better to stay off. Okay, so with that, we will stop the class. Okay, so just give me a quick feedback. I appreciate those 130 people that have stayed back. Okay, I know that I took 15 minutes extra of your time. Okay, so just give me a quick feedback, guys. Then you guys can drop off. Okay, why Western people drink? The Western people drink because it is ingrained in their culture. Will fetus become alcoholic when he grows? No, beta. But the fetus might not be developed properly. Kirtan, balance. Advertisement. Want to watch the advertisement? Yeah. Advertisement dekha dete hai. If you guys want to watch the advertisement, let me show you guys the advertisement also. Since you guys have stayed back for so long. Okay. If you guys want to watch the advertisement, okay, let me just show you guys the advertisement. Then you guys can 1 second. why people living in north side drink? ऐसा नहीं है यार. This is actually a myth that North Indians drink. Like 2 of the dry states are in north, Gujarat and Bihar. Both of them are dry states, right? That is actually a myth that people from North India drink a lot. People from all over India drink a lot. चिंता मत करो. ठीक है? Okay, 1 second. Is smoking vape also injurious? Yes, yes, Vinith. All of that is harmful for your health. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Okay, so I hope all of you can see the screen here. I hope all of you can see the screen. Okay. Okay, can you guys hear the sound also? Can you guys hear the sound also? Just give me a yes or no. Can you guys hear the sound also? ठीक है, चलो साउंड भी आ रहा है, वीडियो भी आ रहा है, चलो अच्छी बात है. ओके, दिस इज 30-second वीडियो. ओके, दिस इज अबाउट एड्स. ओके, नो Advait, that is actually not true. Actually drinking alcohol lowers your body temperature.
कहते हैं लड़कियां दिमाग से नहीं दिल से काम लेती हैं. हंसी तो फंसी. और इनकी ना में भी हाँ होती है. हे
मेरी ना का मतलब सिर्फ ना है. जस्ट फ्रेंड्स.
ना कहना आसान नहीं पर जरूरी है. HIV एड्स का चांस ना लें.
जवान हूँ, नादान नहीं.
सो ना का मतलब ना है बेटा. ओके, ओके, ना का मतलब ना है. So if a girl says no, that means no. Okay, do not engage in forcible coitus. Okay, just friends. He just got friend zone. Okay. So yeah, okay, ना का मतलब ना है. Please take care. Okay, so if girl says no, that means no. Okay, and do everything सही वक्त पे. Okay, चलो यार. So I'll see you guys tomorrow यार. Okay, so thank you. I hope that you guys liked today's class. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's class, and most importantly, I hope that you guys learned in today's class. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, okay guys, bye bye.